I have a question. Why is it that those who preach love and acceptance are often met with the most violent resistance? Here's another question. Why are the most ardent supporters of these people in life so quiet when they're dead? Now is not the time for milquetoast commiserations, shoulder shrugging, and awkward silences. A good man is dead, and this is not an isolated incident. Violence against queer folk in South Africa is a pervasive issue that demands our attention and our action. Welcome back, I'm NJ. This is a short one and it's a departure from my normal content. Usually I wait for the case to be done and dusted, trial and all, before I have my say, but this one hits different. Today you're getting a rant. I may revisit this case if it ever reaches a suitable conclusion, but today we rant. Muhsin Hendricks wasn't just an imam. He was a trailblazer, an inspiration and a beacon of hope for LGBTQ+ Muslims worldwide. His story is one of resilience and compassion and an unyielding pursuit of equality. Yet, since his murder, the response from politicians, religious leaders and community figures has been shockingly quiet. And those who have spoken up, they're not nearly angry enough. Now is not the time for silence. A light has gone out in the world, and we should be screaming from the fucking rooftops for justice and accountability. Muhsin Hendricks was born in June 1967 in Cape Town, South Africa. From a young age, he felt a deep connection to his faith and pursued a path to become an imam. Growing up in a religious family during apartheid, faith gave him solace and purpose. But as he grew older, Muhsin faced an internal struggle. He realized he was gay, something that clashed with the traditional Islamic teachings he had been raised with. That conflict brought pain and confusion, but instead of running away from it, he sought understanding. At first, he tried to conform. In 1991, he entered an arranged marriage, which led to 3 children. During this time, he also studied classical Arabic and Islamic studies at the University of Islamic Studies in Karachi, Pakistan. But balancing his responsibilities as a husband, father and imam while struggling with his identity took its toll. He couldn't keep lying to himself or to his faith. Determined to reconcile his faith with his truth, Muhsin embarked on a journey of theological study and self-discovery. He sought alternative interpretations of Islamic teachings and found room for acceptance within his religion. In 1996, he chose honesty. He divorced his wife, not out of a lack of love, but because he could no longer live in a way that contradicted his truth. But his dedication to both his faith and his family never wavered. Coming out as a gay man and an imam was not easy. He faced criticism and rejection from within the Muslim community. But he stood firm in his belief that faith and identity are not mutually exclusive, that resilience made him the first openly gay imam in the world. Through his own experiences, Muhsin saw that many LGBTQ+ Muslims were struggling in silence. He wanted to be the support system he never had. In 2004, he founded the Inner Circle, a groundbreaking organization that helps LGBTQ+ Muslims reconcile their faith with their identity. The Inner Circle provides counseling, workshops, and theological education, giving LGBTQ+ Muslims a safe space to explore their faith without fear of judgment. Beyond the Inner Circle, Muhsin established Masjid Ut-Tawheed in Cape Town, an inclusive mosque where LGBTQ+ Muslims could worship without fear of discrimination. It became a sanctuary for many who had felt ostracized by traditional religious institutions. His impact extended far beyond South Africa. He was invited to speak at international conferences, sharing his experiences and theological insights to help others navigate the intersection of Islam and queerness. One of the most significant ways his story reached a wider audience was through the 2007 documentary Jihad for Love. This film highlighted the stories of LGBTQ+ Muslims worldwide, including Muhsin's, showing his fight to create a more inclusive Islam. In 2022, another documentary, The Radical, was released focusing exclusively on his life, struggles and activism.
Being the world's first openly queer imam is like Miss World. But that's the gay side of me that says that.
This focuses on the South African man believed to be the first imam to be openly gay.
He didn't expect to become a pioneer for gay rights for South Africa's Muslims.
At the age of 5 already, I came to realize that I'm different from the other boys because you're hearing your grandfather saying from the mosque, people like me, we're going to hell.
Family members would say, your dad's going to be stoned to death, you can't be around him, he's not in the fold of Islam. And I think that was a tough thing growing up with. Having this fear that, would your dad come back?
We should definitely bring in back the death sentence for this guy.
I think this Muhsin should be thrown off a mountain or burned or something like that.
And it just didn't bother me. The need to be authentic was greater than the fear to die. Is this even possible? Is this real? Can we be queer and Muslim, and can we be in this space and praying together?
This was the best thing for me ever, to come to a space where I can just be, and I can pray and I can just be authentic.
Why must a gay person fight for God's love? Good practicing Muslims have the choice.
I believe I'm going to change the world from here. If we couldn't make it now, I don't know when. This is the right time.
It was as if my dad was always going to war. And I think only later I realized that the war that he was fighting was a good one.
The heart is not big enough to contain both fear and faith. You choose.
On February the 15th, 2025, Imam Hendricks had just finished officiating the wedding of a heterosexual interfaith couple in Bethelsdorp. As he left the venue in the back seat of a gold VW T-Roc, CCTV footage captured what happened next. A silver Toyota Hilux double cab blocked the car's path. When the T-Roc tried to maneuver around, the Hilux repositioned, cutting them off again. Then, a man in a hoodie jumped out of the Hilux, ran to the rear window, and fired multiple shots. Seconds later, he sprinted back to the Hilux, which sped away. Imam Muhsin Hendricks, the world's first openly gay imam, was dead. His murder sent shockwaves through both the LGBTQ and Muslim communities. But what should have been an outcry of global outrage was met with a disturbing silence from political and religious leaders. The investigation is ongoing and the motive remains unclear, but one thing is certain: Muhsin Hendricks had faced years of death threats due to his activism. Despite the risks, he never backed down. In the wake of his death, the community has rallied to honour his memory. Masjid Ut-Tawheed held a memorial service where many paid tribute to his life's work. Cape Town Pride saw an overwhelming turnout, with protesters demanding justice. But even in mourning, there is resistance. Fellow Cape Town Imam Sheikh Jameel Adam labelled Hendricks an apostate and called for the execution of homosexuals.
This person that was killed, may he get from Allah what he deserves. It was mentioned everywhere or on the social media, a gay imam. If he was gay, he's not an imam. Right? Because to be an imam, he must be a person of taqwa and adalah. He must be a person who has taqwa Allah, who fears Allah, who has upright character, good character, Islamic character, and who is free of khawarimul muru'ah, free of things which nullify Islamic character, such as shirk or bid'ah or sinfulness. Right? Open transgressions. So here's an open transgressor. Right? He cannot be a leader because he cannot be followed. So when they say, oh, this gay imam, they're trying to put something across. They're trying to spread this poison. Gay or being homosexual, which he openly proclaimed, it is a major sin, from the worst of sins, from the most detestable sins. And when Lut said to his people, do you make or do a sin, an abominable action, like a fahisha, an evil, illicit deed, which none of the creation has preceded you in? You men approach men with your desires instead of women. You are a ever transgressing people, sinful people. So it is a major sin in Islam. This is homosexuality. Its penalty in Islam. Whoever you find doing the actions of the people of Lut, execute the one doing and the one done to. This is the ruling of the Sharia.
His vile rhetoric has sparked outrage, with calls for complaints to be submitted to the South African Human Rights Commission. Meanwhile, politicians are playing it safe. President Cyril Ramaphosa condemned the killing, calling it a heinous attack. But his statement was cautious, too cautious. Where is the fury? Where is the unequivocal condemnation? Instead of taking a firm stand, too many leaders are trying to straddle the line, acknowledging a crime without alienating the conservative majority. South Africa boasts one of the world's most progressive constitutions, yet the reality on the ground is starkly different. Hate crimes against the LGBTQ+ community are commonplace, and the government's response is always the same: empty words and no action.
Yes, very sad. Anyway.
This cannot continue. We need real outrage, not empty condolences. We need justice, not just memorials. If our leaders won't step up, then we must. We must demand accountability, support LGBTQ+ Muslim initiatives, and refuse to let Muhsin Hendricks' murder fade into another headline of forgotten tragedy. To donate to the Inner Circle in his memory, visit theinnercircle.org.za/donate. There's a link in the description, along with a link to the form where you can complain against Sheikh Adams with the SAHRC. And that's it for today. Thank you to my patrons for making this possible, and to the team at DreamStream for making it look good. See you next time. Cheers.